Hello, welcome back to a very special episode of the Force Commander's Guide to Purging Nurgle. I'm Jed Starr. Olish is preemptively in the freezer, and we'll get to him at the next mission site. For now, we're going to look around where we left off, and sadly, with the expanded map, we are unable to reach other missions. They are on the other side of the sector, and we just can't reach. We do have plenty of time to research and upgrade the ship, and warp engines, and astropaths, prognosticars. Prognosticars are a good idea. Those will help us start to get to places. Maybe we'll get 2 missions a time instead of only 1. The meditation chamber finish, which I really like because just faster XP growth on soldiers is real good. Going with another prognosticar because the map is expanded. I want to cover more space with prognosticars for not only just the bonuses, but to make missions not time out as much so that maybe we can get there. And I'm just going to kill time in the center of the sector and hopefully be in range to respond to multiple bloom missions. Bloom Suppression 2 just finished. Fun. There's really only 2 things I can research right now. Bloom Seed Purification is 1 for a green seed, which then opens up the other colors. And Bloom Suppression 3, which is for 5 green seeds. Right now, I figure I just got the Purity Seals. I want to start using the abilities. I'm going to go with Bloom Seed Purification. It's only, 16 days for green, but I got to do it 5 times. It's going to be a while, but it's worth
Commander, my agents report a novel Bloomspawn hive that resonates with the vile energy of the Tentaris strain. For now, the substructure remains contained, but given time, its tendrils will corrupt the planet beyond redemption. Address other priorities first if you must, but do not leave this abomination to mature too long.
So hooray, new type of mission that came with the DLC. This is a Tentaris hive. So it affects a star system, and rather than blue missions timing out, it essentially starts at 0 and slowly starts ticking upwards in planetary corruption. We can't respond to a blue mission right now. It looks like they've all despawned anyway. So we might as well head towards it, but the downside is that it's on the other side of a warp storm.
Alert! Warp storms barrage the Edict's surface. Significant hull breach detected. Further exposure risks catastrophic breakdown.
And here's the annoyance of warp storms.
Grandmaster, I have uncovered vital knowledge since we last spoke.
I have just been acquainting myself with your recent report. It appears to begin quite innocently with a raid on a Nurgle-infested Eldari craft world. If that weren't enough, I can see this led to the advent of 1, 2, 3, no, 5 greater demonic entities, heralding, it would appear, a most catastrophic outbreak of the bloom throughout your sector. Just what have you been up to, Inquisitor?
If I could direct you to section CT 2011-5, you would see that—
Enough! I have no more patience for your ivory tower excuses. Commander, you are not without fault in all of this. I demand an immediate explanation.
Commander, how dare you?
Silence! Your own report condemns you, Inquisitor. I would see you stripped of your status for these acts of heresy.
The truth is on my side. Call me before a tribunal, and I will counter every charge.
Oh, you do not rattle easily, do you? Were you a knight, I would have you atone for your lack of contrition. Commander, I am not without some sympathy for this obstacle you must contend with.
If I may, Grandmaster, what is crucial is that I now know how to combat this bloom.
And so it would seem. I read of your plan to use some arcane xenotech to construct a Codex Toxicus, is it? Our chapter is no stranger to the use of foreign relics, but this is highly unorthodox.
There is precedent. I have done my research.
Oh, of that I have little doubt. Wherever you go, Inquisitor, your actions seem to leave a lasting impression. My entire council is in uproar over this news of our missing chapter lord. It seems I have little choice but to continue supporting your operation.
Thank you, Grandma.
For your recklessness, however, I revoke your authority to command the Grey Knights in battle. You may join future combat missions when your talents are needed, but you will follow the Commander's orders henceforth, to the letter.
How could he possibly have known about Drago? I didn't include him in my report.
I told him, of course. The manifestation of the Supreme Grand Master is an unprecedented event.
You could have warned me at least.
I report to the chapter, not to you.
Intercession. This exchange is unproductive. Open collaboration will be necessary to execute this mission efficiently. Our first responsibility is to support the Commander.
You are right, as always, Dominus. My apologies, Commander. I should have consulted with you before informing the Grand Master about Lord Drago.
Always blame Vakir. Some of the other outcomes are Kai getting angry at us and locking us out of the armory. So it just always seems like it's best to blame Vakir. I have just enough... Actually, I have plenty of requisition, so I'm unlocking the 4 categories I care most about, and I waffle on the assassin kit.
The Edict cries out for repair.
So I kept 6 requisition. We could have spent it, but I wanted to save it for rewards on the upcoming missions. Because Kai's happy with us, we'll also be earning extra requisition. And then as soon as I get out of that, it's bloom time, and this yellow spreader is way over there. And I gotta decide, well, do I go to the Tentaris Hive or do I go back? Well, Tentaris Hive doesn't time out nearly as fast as these missions. So I walked into the warp storm, took hull damage for no reason, and now I'm gonna go fly back out of it and go deal with these bloom missions. This little blue guy is getting towards the middle of the sector, which is actually kind of convenient in a sense that when the blue missions appear in the center, it's more likely we can get multiple in one cycle. So we're just going to head there and then hope maybe we can reach the yellow one at the far side or the south one. But I got to go to the freezer. I'll be right back. Alright, we are here. And once again, I'm joined by Olish, who is DC's inspiration for Victor Freeze.
I got nothing about that.
So we need to find some unwounded members of the team, and I thought it would be time to reach into the freezer and pull something out that is not Olish. So we now have an Eversor.
Kane!
The one that actually is supposed to be in the freezer.
Are you not supposed to be in the freezer?
As opposed to the other assassins.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah. This Justicar, I'm taking out because we haven't. I think I got him as a reward several videos ago and even forgot to show him off. That he had a decent trait, Blade Master, for 5% melee crits. He also has pockets, but the way that it aligned his skills, it went to the left instead of the right, so he's farther away from Crushing Charge. And yeah. It's such a minor waste of 1 skill point that I don't want to spend 2 requisition to fix, but at some point I might, because skill points get tight. Also, hey, we have seeds, and we can actually start spending some of them. We don't have a whole lot of non-green seeds, but we have enough to, maybe rub a few yellows around. Crystal for more parry, or book for more damage. Let's see. Also I think why I'm bringing around the Eversor is all of our interceptors are wounded. And the Eversor is sort of an interceptor. He's very fast in melee. We'll talk more about him after Vakir and whoever tell us about this mission.
Thank God he can't
This
teleport.
cathedral appears in fine condition. Are you quite sure your prognosticars detected signs of the bloom within?
Certainty. Ministorum communications have been silent since our arrival.
This edifice stands as a tribute to our righteous emperor. brothers. We must remove these foul seeds from this holy place.
Is that because you're worried about the Evisaur, like, teleporting out of containment?
Yeah.
I think Evisaurs also came around and kind of by necessity implemented some of the bleed changes. They are also very, very bleed focused as a unit, but not as like a primary thing, but just as kind of like everything else they do causes bleed. I love the voice effects on it. He's so happy to be here. Oh, I remember this moment. So the Evisaur actually has 6 movement, but then it kind of looks like the Evisaur could be under where the Apothecary is by the outline of the blue movement. I'm like, wouldn't that be 7? That wouldn't be 6. And it's just a display issue. Because, yeah, 6.
Yeah. I mean, I could see you counting that. I think it's something about, like, if there's an ally nearby.
Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't border it properly.
Knights!
That's just a nice group of cultists. Accidental reverb.
Prepare to engage.
I mean, what is a cult if not an echo chamber?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Taking position.
These guys have activated a little farther away than I'd like. Also, I think sooner or later I'm going to realize that it takes me a while to remember a few of the Evisaur's intrinsic abilities.
For the Emperor! I strike true.
Ah, that feels so good. I mean, for me, probably not for them.
A little bit surprised that didn't actually interrupt the Overwatch. Dude's got some serious focus.
It really does take a melee or bust. Or I guess not.
Mercy in death.
Or disrupt, whatever. Okay, there's several ways to interrupt. But yeah, being on fire, not one of them.
Standing ready.
Ready to kill.
Really want to get in there with him. But there's still like 6 of them left, and so I think I've mentioned before, kind of the problem with melee is that if you don't have spare AP after you kill your target, you're probably standing out in the open. There's 7 of them, and I don't want him to get in there and be isolated and gunned down. I'm really trying to find full cover, and also full cover that's not right next to them. Was really tempted to go all the way up that left staircase, but it seemed too risky.
Your command?
Aside from putting these guys on fire, really they have a pretty strong position. There's 2 pieces of high cover on the left. There's the whole to the right of the fire alcove with the stairs for high cover. Oh.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that you could really do to charge this position very well.
At least from this range, yeah.
It's not going to be too much of a problem.
No.
They're gonna burn to death, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's those 3 in the back that
What is your will?
really, no matter what your starting position was, the fact that they scattered there means there's not a whole lot you can do about them short of,
Yes, sir.
I don't know, teleporting Interceptor and meleeing. There's too many.
Yeah.
Wards activated.
pretty sure I was thinking about waving the flag at the Purgator because a 5 damage silencer shot from relative safety, none of those cultists could really survive another hit. And I'm pretty sure at least one of them is going to burn to death, but if it does take 2 turns, I'm going to burn to death. This was just a wildly, overly pessimistic idea that they were going to charge me for that Overwatch. I was so close.
You will bleed. Here.
Justice!
I think one of the ones that wasn't on fire ran through the fire?
Just
I know one of the ones that started in the fire ran through the fire and had his burning refreshed.
here's a good spot.
I think they just take damage if they are on fire moving through more fire, because there's definitely less of them left alive now. Oh no.
That's true.
No demon
we saw some of it.
its fate.
I think I left 7 alive at the end of my turn, and now there's 5? Oh, I love this guy. He's just so happy to be at work.
He does sort of have the problem that the Interceptor avoids, where he does have to run up to enemies.
True.
He can solve this problem to some extent with drugs.
Your
but-
will.
So, if it wasn't for the fire, I think the Evisor would be fine. But it has been a while since I have played a fresh Evisor. So there is a skill set that I think while I was playing at this moment, I had forgotten, and that I think you're also forgetting, because you haven't played. Also, I was discovering the Evisor can't knock out pillars.
Your orders.
And what I'm referring to, I think becomes evident in this turn.
Well, it's the...
Well, there is the freeze-on stims or whatever, which is sort of a teleport. It's kind of like the teleport assault from the other side.
Yeah,
that is not what I
that's
mean.
kind of what I was thinking.
There is something else that I was forgetting this time. And
Was it just where he takes drugs for 4 AP?
For the Emperor!
no, I kind of remember that. I don't know what's optimized the order of it, because not only does taking drugs give him AP for his HP, but the first kill of every turn heals. So sometimes I accidentally, well, not accidentally, I just score a kill and then don't remember the drugs and then use the drugs, and it works out poorly that way. The skill I am mentioning that I thought I forgot is that he has lightning reflexes. Like, he just does not care about Overwatch. And so, yes, okay, here's the thing I did with the drugs. So, he has already used his once per turn heal on a kill skill, and now I'm using drugs to give him AP, which costs him HP. So, I've kind of accidentally shorted him 2 HP. Not a big deal, but it is definitely something I could do better. I'm gonna go here and look. Oh yeah, kill drive is only once per turn.
Yeah, I forgot that it was only once per turn.
Yeah. I think later down in his levels it can be twice a turn.
Down!
But if you're going to use drugs before you kill someone. Absolutely nobody, please take that out of context. do not take that out of context and post that anywhere on the internet. Ugh.
Yes, Commander.
Oh boy.
Well, clearly
Moving out.
he's got 1 HP.
At your service.
Who needs the willpower? I don't think anyone really needs it.
No one needs willpower. I'm just gonna move everybody up into a ball so we all move as a team and then kill them.
Target destroyed.
Honestly, I maybe should have fed that kill to the Justicar, not for willpower, but for experience, since he's level 2.
I mean, that's perfectly fair.
I really like this map, by the way. There's just a lot of things to interact with it, and I think it makes it a very fun map.
I saw the patrol coming.
Yeah.
May actually get close enough to trigger a fight.
Moving now.
Maybe. It is kind of far away.
Yeah, it's down there at that end of the hallway. I have moved pretty aggressively to the limit of my mobility up the hall. And it hasn't activated. It may move and patrol into us on its turn.
That's more or less what I was thinking was
Yeah.
would happen. Because it just needs to be within 15 tiles or so sight distance.
Yeah.
Tremble before the
Oh, and it did. Fortunately, that's kind of distant activation. At least they walked closer.
Yeah. But hey, you notice that this is a new guy?
Is that an actual Nurgle Terminator?
It is. What are they called? Light load Terminators? There you go. He has an autocannon and an axe. Important thing about that first strike is that that is an active ability that he has to activate. The first time I encountered these guys, I thought that was an auto ability. It is not. He actually has to spend an AP to gain 1 charge of first strike.
Light grenade is annoying.
Oh, yeah.
Armor piercing.
And inflicts blind.
But that suppression hurts.
Oh yeah, do not walk out of its suppression. You have to break it. Like, I think it was, what, 10 damage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Nurgle Terminators, actually Chaos Terminators in general, use autocannons. The Space Marines used to use autocannons, but they replaced it with assault cannons, which are basically just better.
Yes. I vaguely remember from my tabletop days loving my Terminators and loving assault cannons. And then being upset that I couldn't give each and every one of them an assault cannon.
No. Only 2 heavy weapons per squad.
At your service.
Oh, it's so sad the statue just barely can't reach.
Well, that one almost can. It's still probably worth doing.
But also gets rid of their cover as well.
As ordered.
I also anticipated it getting rid of suppression. No, I think it did. It does.
Yeah.
Despite the knockback not affecting the Terminator, I guess it did in fact get rid of suppression. Would have been really annoying if it hadn't.
Firing on target.
I have to say, I really do appreciate the range of the silencer. It may have been something I overlooked or forgotten since the start of the LP.
Well, I mean, if you more or less treat it like a bolter, you get the advantage of doing full damage. You also get to ignore cover. Full damage at a longer range.
Right.
And then, yeah, you do have the, 4 more tiles that you can
Your
shoot,
orders?
which is, it's just really nice to have.
Yeah, and 3 more with skill investment.
I am his will. Ignore the wounds. We bring death.
Not quite twice as far as a bolter can reach. Certainly you can shoot outside
The
visual
enemy
distance.
is wounded.
Yeah, it's only 2 AP to make that attack.
Yes. He moves pretty quickly. He's got extra movement, so anything within 12.
He's only got 1 extra movement at this point. It helps.
Well, yeah, 6 squares per AP as opposed to 5. It means a 20% movement boost. I'm not sure these really matter. This guy should be dead before the end of the round, before any of these precision targetings matter.
Yeah.
But maybe I could get an execute on. I don't think so. No. He's just dead to a regular hit because the Evisaur does enough damage. It's worth noting the Evisaur also inflicts bleed with his melee, and then his special attack, he doesn't have Force Strike. He has Eviscerate, where he expends his HP to power his abilities. But Eviscerate will do, was it all of the bleed stacks on them, on that target instantaneously, and then clear bleed. So if it's a tough
I am here to serve.
Nurgle unit that can actually survive a few hits, the Evisor can slash them a few times and put, 6, 9 stacks of bleed on them, and then Eviscerate to do an attack, plus immediately activating all 9 points of that bleed for a very large hit.
Hurry!
Wondering if you could have Kane wave the flag, but I don't know that that guy would have died in 2 melee attacks from the...
Well, wave the flag at whom?
Oh, right. You can't do that to the officer, can you?
Yeah.
Wards in hot.
So instead of giving up position, I just hit Agent Shield. He can bolter me for up to 4. He's got 3 points of armor. Or whatever, 1 HP chip damage, I don't care. And if he did it from far enough away and paid 1 point of damage from a range... Nah, Kane took 1 point. Almost got out of that without a scratch.
At once.
Just envisioning the Predator barreling in and being like, I see full cover, it's mine.
Melee units don't need cover.
Yes.
So yeah, every random strike is a fucking bleed.
Yes.
So even if things live against the Evisor, they usually don't live long.
What is your will?
Prior to pulling you out of the freezer, I spent some requisition on his gear, and I bought a sword that has 100% parry for the Evisor. Not specifically for the 100% parry, but that is a thing you can do. If you want to arrange a situation, you can just put so much damage on the target, and then put 6 or whatever more points of bleed on the target. Let it attempt to hit the Evisor, fail, and then bleed out. I did it mostly though because the sword came with experience bonus, rubbed a few seeds on it, and now the Evisor runs double experience. He's got some catching up to do, so I feel like that's good value.
Yeah, so it's just... I did notice you absolutely fed that.
Yeah.
Your orders.
That last kill. That warp speed biomancy good. Especially if you can trigger another pod this turn.
Yes. That is my plan.
There is that one nearby.
Yeah, up at the, I don't remember my church architecture, but where the pulpit would be is this place where isn't a real church. I mean, it still has some of the architecture.
Kane.
Like here's the front where the
We heard you coming. Advancing.
Brothers, stand ready.
I do appreciate how we're getting smaller enemy groups with the new upgraded enemies.
Right. I think every patrol gets some sort of numerical value.
Yeah.
You've noticed the cultists have gone from packs of 5 to packs of 9.
Yeah.
Your command.
Whereas the
Kind of like a point buy.
Yeah, exactly. And so, Blightlord Terminator's expensive, or the, I already forgot what the Bell guys are actually called.
I didn't realize that the columns actually do armor
Your
piercing.
orders.
Yeah. As fun as armor piercing is, though, it usually doesn't matter very much, simply because...
Yes, Commander.
At least for me, I don't typically have enough sources of armor piercing to matter.
Yeah, one source of armor piercing is almost meaningless.
Yeah. Because, sure, the column, or theoretically one of my knights might have an armor piercing weapon, is going to do some armor piercing. But unless they get the kill, all the other follow-up knights and attacks are going to have to go through the armor that the piercing attack left behind. Which is why armor break, I feel, is always more valuable.
Giving up and clearing them this turn.
Yeah. Also, I'm realizing that I left my apothecary at 0 AP, which technically is enough AP for me to do what I want to do with my apothecary this turn, but the game won't let me select him and do it. And that
you
is
want to use the Service Skull to get that delicious blue seed.
yes, exactly. Because of that, I may be leaving that the Bell champion alive a turn longer than I should have. Although maybe I also wouldn't have really had a way to close like
Yes,
15, 20
Commander.
tiles. Pretty certain.
Aye, sir. Firing on target.
Just drugs every turn.
Well, you do have enough movement to stab and then run back into cover.
Right, but I can get the cover and make 2 pistol attacks. And while that doesn't trigger his like blood feast ability or whatever it is, it does, you know, secure the kill that I'm looking for. So his pistols have a secondary ability, because obviously he's not going to have Psybolt, to inflict neurotoxin and bleed. And it had been a while. I'm like, what is neurotoxin again?
Get down!
And the tooltip doesn't really say. So I'm gonna have to wait until it's my turn to go check his abilities.
Do you hear it? Secure in position!
Pain is beneath
I
me.
can't remember. I've been trying to figure it out.
It's very underwhelming. Negative 50% resistance.
Oh, that is very underwhelming.
Yeah.
It's stackable and can't be resisted. I
mean,
suppose
yeah.
there's probably some specific situations where that might be useful, like if you're really trying to land a debuff, then you might,
Your command.
Right.
oh, pull out the Needler.
I think it's neat, but the fact that it replaces the normal, like, 4 damage bolt pistol shot, I think makes it pretty worthless.
Another foul seed. Your orders.
You're not going to use it in general.
Yeah.
It becomes a very specialized tool.
Affirmative.
Oh, hey, look, I was wrong. We actually are going to kill him with armor-piercing damage.
For the golden throne.
Well, he didn't take any attacks that did armor damage, so yeah.
Yeah.
Like
he
an
did.
extra source of armor piercing. Well, he took the shot from the Needler, the neurotoxin.
Right.
He
Vengeance.
took the first column. And
was
then he
missing
took
armor.
the second column.
Your command.
Was he? I thought he had
Yeah.
the full, like, 5 or 6 hits.
Well, yeah, at the end, at the start of this turn.
Yes, Commander.
And when I shot him with the Needler, though, he had 4 health and 1 armor. Man, we're both such goldfish.
I'm trying to remember what the Needler actually did in the tabletop when I played. I think it was just, like, wounded on a 2+, and that was what the neurotoxin was. You ignored the target's toughness.
This, like, off by 1 stuff here. But that's what drugs are for.
And yeah, you got 3 HP back. Paid for itself.
What is your will?
The heal is 20% of whatever you kill's max health. So, 1 for every 5. Easy way to remember. this
Vakir. He
whole
was
box.
right over here, wasn't he? Yeah.
Standing ready.
Hmm?
The last is here. I didn't see
yeah.
the pod until you moved back closer again.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so I can try to ambush them around the corner and be in close proximity and have a good jump on them. Also, you can utilize the middle section more than I have this mission. It's actually really nice because while knights in regular power armor can climb and scale it at will, most Nurgle things can't. In fact, I don't think any can off the top of my head. They can jump down, but they can't climb up.
Well, if everybody's up there, then you have the annoying thing where the AI is probably going to path to the stairs and just walk away from you.
Right.
I can't believe that actually revealed them.
Yeah, me either.
Dogs. I bring death and decay.
Enemy sighted.
Really have no idea how that vision could possibly have worked.
Yeah, it definitely seems like he would have been below the... I guess, is horizon the right term for the balcony?
I mean, just the balcony would have obfuscated that. You had no direct line.
Yeah.
At once.
But hey, the Purgator's got
Really
sort
hope
of
it would
a
work.
dubious Overwatch.
Well, do you mean Overwatch in the mechanical ability, or do you mean conceptually?
Well, just that spread attack he did.
Oh, yeah. Because your Purgators, well, at least if they're using the heavy weapons, don't actually have Overwatch mechanic.
Right. I just saw the code and I was like, oh, that's an Overwatch code. But no, it wasn't.
Fire.
This game, for everything that it does kind of nicely, doesn't really do well with verticality.
Yeah, that's like the one thing that I can easily point to.
Aye, sir.
I guess the other would be also centering or setting up these camera shots for long-ranged attacks.
Oh,
A lot of the time, if I'm shooting at distance, it'll only have the target in frame. And so, so when I'm playing, sometimes I'm conscious about it, and you'll see me back out of shots, spin the camera 180 degrees so that both the shooter and the target are in frame, and then take the shot again. There's no reason to drop down and get into melee with these three things immediately before they're weakened. The Plague Walkers can melee for, 5 with a sword, 4 for a claw.
Unleash me.
The Terminator can swipe for, I think, 5 or 6. So we can wait for them to come back. They can't climb up there, and 2 of them don't even have guns, so we're just going to sit up there and pot shot them until they get closer.
I will hold them here.
I think I'm a little bit optimistic with my Overwatch about how far they're going to charge me, but I don't remember.
Bolter trained and ready.
Certainly, I feel like they're going to try.
Yeah.
The Terminator isn't. She was autocannon.
Feel the infection.
Right, so remember the first time we saw one of these and I mentioned the first strike has to be an activated ability?
It is an
That-
activated ability.
Yeah, that is what he just did. He changes his pose. You see maybe the little red energy lines around his feet. Now he has first strike.
At your service.
But that's an auto ability, so the
It
Eversword
is.
doesn't care.
I am with you.
I know he ignores.
Opening fire.
You're right.
Here, I was hoping that I just completely jumped the gun and ruined the surprise running the Eversword. It's like, first strike doesn't work. But I guess no, you would have just shot him.
Yeah, I just shot him with Disruptor, just so that I could get in there and melee him. But I think you're right, actually, because, you walk through
Yes,
Overwatch or
Commander.
Suppression, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Ammo depleted.
Lightning Reflexes
Your
doesn't
orders?
care about auto abilities. First strike being an auto ability. Yeah.
Target acquired.
I did see the
Slaughtered.
taking the
At your
50% parry chance
service.
and being like, oh, just shoot him.
Yeah, that's an important thing to remember with those guys. Just
Cannot
sometimes
parry bullet.
Taking position.
Sometimes you plan out your turn, and
Your
then
command?
your sword goes donk,
Armed and ready.
and your plans go, oh shoot, I'm now AP short.
Your command.
No, I gotta go find as close as I can get with 1 AP left.
Just so you can use the extractor skull.
Yep. It's still real strange.
the blue
This is a
raspberry.
free ability.
Accounted for, Commander, but there are warp disturbances emerging nearby. We will begin teleport extraction immediately.
It's still, it's one of those little oversights that I feel like is pretty understandable for like maybe a dev team that hasn't done it a whole lot or doesn't, maybe have a decade of just being a strategy gamer experience behind that. Look, if you're giving me an ability that takes no AP and no resources to use,
You should
but
be
you
able to
don't-
always use that.
I should be able to always use it. Even if I'm out of AP for moving or shooting or magic or whatever, I still have this skull that can just do something. Let me use it even after I've used my 3 AP.
Well, like the Eversor has a free ability to give him an AP. If you spend all 3 AP, you can't just use drugs again because you
Oh,
can't
yeah, that's
select
right.
them to use it.
Right, yeah, and that's the big thing. The game has kind of worked under the assumption if at 0 AP, unit can't do anything, but that's not always the case. Because, yeah, you're exactly right. Even at 0 AP, the Eversor could exchange 2 HP for drugs.
We have found them.
Not being able to select them prevents you from doing that, and that could be really bad. You might find yourself in a time where you're miscalculating how many AP you need on a given turn, and then be like, oh, well, let me just use drugs, and then you can't.
I'm not saying that order of operations shouldn't be important, but this is a user experience thing.
I am here
Yeah,
to serve.
It's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if it worked a little bit more sensibly.
Yeah. And, I mean, to draw parallels, it works how we would desire it in XCOM 2. You could select your soldier even if they were out of AP. You couldn't really do anything, but you could check, their cooldowns, their abilities, their health, or whatever.
See if they have ammo.
Yeah, that too. But when you pressed tab or whatever your shortcut was to select the next soldier, the game would intuitively skip 0 AP soldiers. So it was a really much more smoother quality of life sort of thing.
And that's not... It's really not an automatic thing. You have to think about it and design... Like to make a conscious decision to make that thing work. And in this case, the developers clearly didn't.
Yeah, it's a very small oversight, but whatever. Remembering that this is now the end of the mission, and I have stratagems in case I need them.
Well, you haven't not used them all. You're decently far away. It's not terribly likely anybody's going to run up and melee you.
Can't remember what I was searching here for. I think it was getting confused about the difference between Death Wish and Pestilent
Yes,
Explosion.
Commander.
Death Wish is when he gets low HP, he gets enraged and will just run face first at somebody and then either
And then
melee or
explode.
explode.
Yeah.
Well, he explodes on death, but him running face
orders.
first at somebody at low health is a good way to get him killed. But also, it causes plague, but when it's the end of the mission, plague's not going to tick for 3 turns, so I don't really
Securing
care.
position.
I mean, this just means the apothecary on the ship has to kill you.
Armed and ready.
Yeah, but that's what they're there for.
But this pod activation, so to speak,
It will be
it's actually
done.
like it was far enough away that it would be really annoying to jump on one because they're close enough that they're kind of mutually supporting.
Yeah.
You have to hold out for more than 2 turns. Be not like
Firing
a
now.
problem.
Justice.
Gosh, silencers are so good.
Yeah, I'm willing to say that you can go either way at this point with the Purge doors. It's just that, I don't know. Previous playthrough opinions had stuck much stronger with psi cannons in my head. I still think the starting silencers are garbage, but this level 2 one definitely makes them worth it.
I feel like even just like the basic, non-mastercrafted silencer is fine. put it on a Purgator with a couple of levels. It does basically what you want it to.
You might be right. I think just maybe my early game opinions of them, when I was starting with like low-level Purgators and non-mastercrafted silencers, has broadly colored my opinion of it. I needed to go back and reevaluate.
Well, I understand
once you get
why.
skills and better use, that they become much better.
Because early on, the ability to do the blast attack that hits multiple enemies and enemies having less HP.
The ability to blow up cover.
Yeah, the ability to blow up cover. It's going to feel a lot more impactful. It's not to say that the early silencer is bad, it's just that the way things work out, you're going to do a little bit...
Wounded.
I keep wanting to say heavy bolter. You're going to be better off with the Psy Cannon.
You know, speaking of, why don't Grey Knights use, like, traditional heavy weapons? Is it the psychic things?
It's a psychic things.
I don't know. Can you not have, like, a psychic heavy bolter?
That's what the Psy Cannon is.
Oh, okay.
It's just a heavy bolter, but, you know, modified to be more psychic-y.
Okay. So last turn before extraction, and finally use stratagem. At the start of my turn, I have forgotten something about assassins again. Do you remember what that is?
Don't Gate of Infinity with the rest of your group.
Okay, close. They don't benefit from stratagems like everybody else. So I have hit Spirit of Strength, a 50% crit chance. So I'm going to, not this attack, I think it's the next one.
I'm going to look slightly confused as to why your crit chance isn't high enough.
Sort of. That would require me to pay more attention. I'm going to look at this and see that the whole bar was red plus yellow, meaning a crit was a kill, and then take the attack without realizing, oh right, Strength of Spirit didn't affect him. That last attack I just did wasn't a guaranteed crit and wasn't a guaranteed kill, and I just flew through it without realizing. And, you know, hey, look, if you don't ever see diving tackle, you can't be punished by it, right?
Technically true, I suppose.
So, yeah, I just kind of walked into a crit that I thought was guaranteed, which was not.
Never punished.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your will?
Are we the baddies? That's not something the good guys should be saying, right? The Evisaur isn't actually eating people's souls out here, right?
No, the Eversaur is just on all of the drugs.
So I am going to remember that the Evisaur isn't going to get to teleport from this. But he is in a place with high cover. We can shoot the bloated Poxwalker off of him. It will explode and plague him, but that's pretty irrelevant when the end of the enemy turn is our extraction turn.
See, the least lore accurate part of this is that you bring the Eversaur back.
They're expensive.
They're also, like... Yes, they're expensive to train. They have all their drug machines. The thing is that once they're released, you don't expect to bring them back. You kick them out of the cooler onto the surface of the planet and then basically run away. Because the moment that they wake up and have something resembling cognition, they just start murdering everything until eventually all of the drugs in their system explode.
You said you don't expect them to come back. I mean, but what if they kill everything before they explode? Could you not just then put them back in the jar?
The problem is, how do you do that?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're so roided and drugged up, and they've
Right.
just been busy sating their murder boner, which can never be fully sated. Like, who's gonna bell that cat?
I am here.
What are you gonna try and do? You can't, like, tranquilize them. They have so many drugs in their system, you can't put them to sleep.
For the Emperor.
I guess maybe you could, like, sacrifice a bunch of servitors to get them into a stasis chamber and then turn it on when they're murdering, but it's equally likely that they'll just pop and take out the entire city block. Because their death explosion is very strong. Also, I'm pretty sure they are sufficiently batshit crazy that you can't, like, mind whammy them.
Why did the Imperium, like, make these guys to begin with?
Look, the Inquisition has the 4 different schools of assassination.
Right.
You know, the Vindicare school is, you know, shoot them from a very long way away.
Yeah.
The Kulexes is shoot them from very up close when they're not expecting it.
Right.
I don't remember what the other one is. I might have confused it with the Kulexes. But you've
yeah,
got
no,
the one
isn't the
that's like,
Kulexes the anti-psych or the pariah?
Yeah. You've got the one that's like,
standing ready.
Let's make Psychicers not able to use their abilities and find these extremely expensive nulls that we don't really have any other use for. The one that can shapeshift is, you know, get up close when they're not expecting it, ambush them, and, you know, you use stealth and subtlety. And then you have the Eversor, who is just ultra-violence. You're solving your problems by throwing Doom Guy at them.
I mean, that's probably a pretty good way to solve your problem, especially when your problem is demons. But they're like, oh, the assassins are so expensive and so highly trained and cyberneticized and everything. It seems like poor use of resources to expect them not to survive more than one deployment.
Cruise missiles are also very expensive.
I feel very uncomfortable with the idea of treating human lives as equivalent with a ballistic weapon.
But that's what they've done with the Eversor, really.
Yeah, okay.
He's been exquisitely trained in murdering. They've given all sorts of fancy gear, and yeah. They also put a bomb in him. I feel like half the purpose of the bomb is that if you see him coming towards you, you can trigger it.
Now I'm just picturing the Eversor uniform having, like, front towards enemy written on the chest. Like a claymore. Hey,
just on his forehead. Hey.
Hey, look at some of these things. Look at this guy. 5 damage, upgrades to 6, has extended range, has increased crit chance, has a chance to auto rapid reload. So I have been hoarding my resource and pushing it into armory access every month, and now we're about at the time where it is time to spend. I will buy level 3s just immediately. This is also some really good armor.
It's got pockets and armor.
Pockets, yeah. But
blessed great Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you even have enough requisition for everything?
No, but I have enough for the 2 level 3 things.
Yeah. This isn't even like a particularly amazing bolter. It's nice to have. It's 5 damage. It's got a little bit more range. It's got crit on it. Rapid reload is nice. You don't give this to, like, the Interceptor.
Justicar.
But yeah, give it to an Apothecary, Justicar.
Yeah.
Anyone
typically,
not
I
otherwise
go
specialized.
Yeah. Typically, I give ammo capacity bolters to the Interceptors. So I've got to go over here and spend 2 to get Crushing Charge. It's a little annoying that one of his points was on the wrong side of Wave the Flag. But, we're alright. So I actually at least remember the Neuro Gauntlet. Incapacitated does not suck like intoxicated or whatever that was.
It just disables them for 1 turn, right?
Yes, exactly. It is just a straight 1-turn stun. It does cost the Eversor some HP, but everything he does costs some HP. So it's a stun for 3 HP and 1 AP, and it's really great because there's basically no other means of stun.
It's usually cheaper than taking the return attack.
Yeah. I really wanted to get over there because we need red seeds, but it's just so far away. I really want to at least get 2 missions in every time the bloom happens, and just not happening. I need more engines, I need more prognosticars. God, I'm gonna go over there and deal with that mission next time. But since there's not a rush this time, I'm just going to go around the warp storm. In case you found any of your ice cream toppled over when we pulled you out, we had some turbulence and lost some hull integrity the first time in there.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Sorry about that. But hey, I hope everybody enjoyed the Evisor. That is it for this time. Next time, I'm going to be flying around that warp storm and dealing with the new type of mission, the Tentaris Hive. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you there.
Ooh, I have strawberry.